Good morning. I'm David Promane, Crown Attorney. My friend, Mr. X, will be representing the accused, Arthur Jackson, for the crime of commercial arson. Members of the jury, this case involves a man who is slowly losing everything: his marriage, his children, his lover, and his business. He saw no way out of the mountain of debt, so he hired somebody to burn down his business in order to collect the insurance money. Let me take you back to what happened. A few years ago, Arthur Jackson was a happily married man, married to his wife Janet, and had 2 children. In 1998, Arthur Jackson became the president and sole shareholder of Flinders Aluminum Corporation. This was a huge milestone that brought a lot of pride to his family. The company showed promise and did well until 2006, when his company suffered a disastrous loss of $500,000. The next year was even worse. This time, his company suffered a loss of $500,000 in only 9 months. And if that's not enough, a short time later, he owed $400,000 to the bank. Arthur Jackson felt like he had nowhere to run, nowhere to turn to, so he hired someone to burn down his business to collect the insurance money. Sonia Peterson, a witness for the prosecution, will acknowledge that she accepted a plea agreement in exchange for her truthful testimony against Arthur Jackson. Sonia Peterson will tell the court that not only did she have a sexual relationship with Arthur Jackson, but she also conspired to burn down Flinders Aluminum in exchange for $500,000. The prosecution will also call Marie Williams. She worked for Flinders for approximately 10 years and had a long-term romantic relationship with the defendant. She worked as a bookkeeper and assistant to the defendant, and therefore had an intimate knowledge of the books and records of the company. She knew that the company was in serious financial trouble. In September, she overheard Sonia Peterson speaking with Arthur Jackson, talking about a George Avery, possibly hiring him, someone who could light up the business. It's important to note that later that month, Arthur Jackson told Marie Williams to write a check to the insurance company to increase their coverage in case of a fire. John Anderson, the president of First Trust Bank, will also be called as a witness. At the end of October, right before the fire, Arthur Jackson, along with Marie Williams, went into the bank to meet with Mr. Anderson to discuss an extension on their bank loan. Arthur Jackson told him that he was bringing on George Avery to reshape the company, bring in some new aluminum dies, create car parts for major automotive manufacturers like General Motors. Mr. Anderson asked for tax returns, balance sheets, among other documents, and Jackson never produced these documents. The extension for the loan for $400,000 was declined. The fire took place only days later. The prosecution will also call Matthew Korn. He will testify that he employed both Sonia Peterson and George Avery. Shortly after he hired George Avery, his building also burnt down. The cause of that fire was hydrochloric acid. Similarly, in this case, the cause of the fire was hydrochloric acid. The fire chief, Donald Olson, will also be called to testify that George Avery, the man suspected of starting the fire in this case, was investigated on 2 prior occasions for other fires. In every case, they involved hydrochloric acid. The bottom line is, the evidence will show that Arthur Jackson was in a financial predicament that he saw no way out of. He hired Mr. Avery to burn down his building in order to collect the insurance money. At the end of this trial, I ask that you enter a verdict of guilt. Thank you.